guys, in today's video I'm going to be adding too much into slime and I really hope that you enjoy it. At the moment I also have 20% off my slime shop with the code SAVE20. This is a limited offer, so be sure to check it out. One of the most requested things to mix into slime is fresh flowers, and I had these flowers for a week and I was like, you know what? They're going to probably expire in a few days. I'm going to mix them into some slime and see what happens. And I decided to leave it overnight after mixing in, and mixing it in was really fun. Weirdly, it didn't actually show too much through this pigment slime, but when I left it, you can't actually see here, but there's actually a lot of liquid and it had just kind of like molded a slight bit, but weirdly the slime wasn't affected at all. These are the most popular slime ingredients right now. The product has a really cool blur effect on it, and this was a really interesting texture to mix into slime because initially the bees didn't want to stick. I messaged one of my friends and they said to leave it overnight and then it sticks in, but I found this actually melted down the slime a slight bit. It was really thick the night before, like you can see here, and then when I came back to it, it had melted down. It wasn't hot here at all, so it really wasn't the weather, and at the base it was even more sticky, but it gave really good ASMR. Another item that has been hugely requested is dice. So I picked up these really cool resin dice cubes, and like you can see, it looks like the most beautiful little cube ever. I cleared it up with some more slime, but it really wasn't that crunchy. So I'm gonna let you listen to the ASMR, but it's prettier than it sounds. I have added too many letter beads in before, but someone requested that I did them in a block because they saw a slime creator called Emma B doing one in a small block. So I decided to do a huge one, and this actually took so much time, but it was all completely worth it for the sounds alone. We never get any sun here in England, so I am always pale and I buy a lot of fake tan, but some of it just doesn't work. So I decided to add all of the ones that don't work for me into a bowl and mix in a tiny bit of glue. And I really didn't think this would work for some reason. I literally added maybe 8 ounces of glue in, mixed it up, and it made a really nice chocolate color. After that, I added a ton of activator, which wasn't surprising just because I didn't use much glue, but it actually stuck together and made a really nice jiggly slime. My absolute favourite thing to drink at the moment is matcha lattes, so I decided to add some into slime just because it doesn't have a sugary taste, so I was like, this won't melt down the slime, and I was actually right. When I mixed this in, it acted kind of like a pigment. It dyed the slime a green colour, but weirdly the matcha stayed intact. It didn't dissolve into the slime, and you could see it kind of looked mossy. I could watch Rangoli videos for hours, and I decided to add some into slime to see what would happen. And this has a very sand-like texture. I've actually never worked with it before. It melted into the slime, so I couldn't really do the design I wanted to. But it was really fun to mix up, and it had a kinetic sand-like texture. Another thing I'm always asked for is adding ice into slime, and I've never done this before, so I wasn't sure what would happen, and I made these into borax ice cubes because otherwise I think it would just be like boring glue, and it isn't really slime that way. So I decided to let it melt, and this took hours. This was literally like 6 hours of it, and it creates like isolated colors around the balls. When I saw these jewels, I knew I had to add them into slime, and they were so pretty. They were also really big, and I thought that they would be kind of sharp on my hands, but they weren't at all. And they mixed into this tiny bit of slime so well. I just came back from a trip from Bali, and one of the things they recommend is taking activated charcoal, but that meant I was left with so much as I don't normally take this. So I decided to add it into slime, and this made a pitch black slime. It also didn't melt down the slime, and it was so glossy. Usually to make a black slime, it's literally impossible, especially with clear slime, so this was so much fun. Suggestion form in my description, and one of the things that people recommend is this specific brand of store-bought slime. I've mixed in store-bought slime before and it was okay, but this is more like just adding too many foam beads. It worked so well and the slime ended up so crunchy. I decided to add too much hair gel into slime, and this was so nice. These are like a gorgeous blue hair gel, and I added maybe, I think, about 10 pots of this. It took so long. I did a lot of this off camera, and then I added some pigment slime in. Just because I thought with a clear base, it would kind of show through. It did get cloudy, but this activated super quickly, and it had a really interesting texture. It was kind of jiggly and kind of gel-like, but it wasn't sticky on your hands. From the first moment you touched it, it was so interesting. And it also did have a slight shimmer, but it just didn't show it super clear. There's a slime ingredient called fishbowl beads, and when I was searching for that, I actually found these fish pellets, and this was so good. It created a really crunchy slime. To make slime softer, people add moisturizer, but I wondered what would happen if you added clothing softener in. And this was really fun. I added a bunch of dyes just to make it colorful, and then I went ahead and added some glue in. And this was really good. I didn't add too much, but it did mix up. And like you can see, it dissolves it instantly. So I had higher hopes, but like you can see, this stayed like cottage cheese. It smelled amazing. I really thought it'd work, especially after the fake tan slime worked, but alas, it did not. Nerf palettes are a really interesting add-in. I actually saw a Nerf palette slime on Slime Shady Shops, and I was going through her stuff and I asked her, and she said that she used these. So I decided to add 4 colors of them in this bowl, and it was really fun to mix in. They stuck in really well and they gave a good, interesting texture. I never understood the phrase losing your marbles until I tried this slime. This was the most infuriating slime I have ever tried. I won these on Brighton Pier. I was feeling very proud of myself. And when I went to mix these into slime, first of all, they were so clunky. They barely stuck in. And when I mixed them, they literally fell out every single time I folded the slime over. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.